Welcome to the pregame. Satirize the system tonight at the Nerd in Las Vegas on Fremont Street. If you haven't bought your tickets, you need to get them now. We are here setting up, getting ready for the live. There's going to be macro elders. There's going to be influencers. There's going to be plebs. There's going to be everything. This is going to be the best live Bitcoin podcast you've ever seen or you've ever experienced. And it all starts tonight at 7 p.m.
Yeah, we're here live on the floor of the Nerd. This is the main Bitcoin event here in Vegas.
I'm Rod Palmer. And who do I have here next to me?
Oh, I'm Maggie Morris.
You know Maggie
my
Morris.
fucking name.
But nobody's seen Maggie Morris before.
Yeah.
And nobody's seen Rod Palmer.
For the Bugle.
But here we are,
Yeah.
ready for Satirize the System.
And here's our respected editor, Richard Greaser.
I'm muted, but I'm ready for this.
Oh my god. So yeah, this is gonna be like the biggest event of the year. We've got like feds from like 4 different continents here, as well as a lot of other suckers thinking that they're gonna get do all kinds of freedom shit, like super weird. A lot of weirdos and what do you call it? Fiat suckers.
We also have Lynn Alden is hot t-shirts, 40 hours per week t-shirts, Comply Line. There's going to be Ungovernable Misfits t-shirts, Cypherpunk stickers, Pleb Miner hoodie, or I don't know about hoodie, but shirts of some sort. Shadrack's going to be here. Fundamentals is going to be here. Barn Miner's going to be here. Adam Semeka, the guy who's holding Steak and Shake in Missouri accountable, he's going to be here.
Trace Mayer.
Trace Mayer's going to be here. Caitlin Long's going to be here. Morgan Richard is going to be here.
David
Rob
Bailey.
Hamilton. David Bailey, we would like it. We've invited him, but he's hard to track down.
Yeah.
But we got a Q&A from the Ungovernable Misfits, great privacy influencer. We got Zach Shapiro from the Bitcoin Policy Institute. Am I missing anybody?
You're missing a bunch of people, but we'll leave them off the list because if you want to know who they are, you should buy a ticket and show up here. Nerd Bar on Fremont Street, starting doors open at 7 p.m. It's going to be incredible. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, we're not doing this paper Bitcoin bullshit. We're not playing the fiat games. We're not a bunch of yahoos.
What are you doing?
Sorry.
Maggie is moving stuff.
I just thought you looked really good in the cowboy hat.
What he's got to have is you can't put a cowboy hat on and then put your headphones in. That's the problem. Technical difficulties. We're working within the constraints of the system, and we're going to satirize it.
So yeah, I mean, we've been doing all sorts of shit out here. What have been the big takeaways? This, folks, this is the pregame show. This is the Bugle News Desk at the Nerd Bar. This is the premier news desk in the industry this week, happening tonight. It's the best news desk because the best credentialed journalists are out here. But yeah, guys, what has been the most interesting thing for you this week that you've seen and noticed?
I thought it was interesting, the embrace game theory. I thought that was very, very retarded and really exactly in line with this year's conference and the whole thing going on right now with PodConf. I thought that was excellent, and making it in Las Vegas is also spot on.
Yeah, we saw.
I'm gonna go organize the party now.
Thank you, Maggie. Maggie will be back for the live stream later tonight for Satirize the System.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Richard,
Bye,
I think one of the most interesting developments happened today. We got decentralized reports that PodConf was distributing banners and flyers all around the conference in the the expo hall, in the different stages, and they're warning people, especially real plebs and PodConf approved influencers, not to attend tonight's event, Satirize the System. They were threatening to revoke PodConf approved status, threatening to remove real pleb certification. That they don't have that authority, and there's no way for them to know you were here. So if you want to stick it to PodConf and tell them to go fuck themselves, make sure you come here tonight. There's no other event in Las Vegas this week that will stick it to PodConf more than this one.
Absolutely. They're terrified that this is happening. They're quaking in their boots. And let me show you a little bit about what's going on here. Grab my camera real quick. So we're getting set up. We got Jeremy over there doing the cameras. We got Fundamentals. What a great shirt. Bitcoin podcast listener. And we got this wrestling ring. So, when people are doing their talk and hanging out, they're going to be, that's where Caitlin Long and Trace Mayer are going to be. There's tons of seats. As you can see, the room's kind of small. So I'm thinking it's going to be pretty packed in here, which is why it's like one of the benefits of having a VIP ticket is just ensuring you get some limited space. Yeah,
We've heard of the man in the arena. The man in the arena, he is the one who is participating, competing, helping separate money from state. Well, tonight, it will be the man or woman in the wrestling ring. The wrestling ring separates signal from noise. It separates the pretenders from the people who are legitimate, who are putting out signal. And we're going to have all of those people in here tonight. They're going to talk about privacy. We're not talking about paper Bitcoin. We might make fun of paper Bitcoin. Some people out there think it's paper Bitcoin or slavery, but we think there's more options than that. We think you can be sovereign. We think that you know how to be sovereign, at least some of you. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the government asymmetric non-compliance and the oppression that they have placed on the samurai developers. And all of this tonight is a benefit to help them fight that legal fight and tell the government that they need to comply with us as peers. Not it can't be an asymmetric situation.
Oh yeah, messages are flowing in. I don't know why people think it's a good idea to message people when they're leading into the show, but people are doing that. If anybody has any questions, just show up at the Nerd Bar on Fremont. The information's posted there. I don't know what else I could do for you, answer for you, but
just go to our X profile or Twitter profile. Go to Noster. One of the top 5 posts will have all the information you need to get your tickets to Satirize system, or you just show up and pay at the door. It's going to be more expensive. You might run the risk of getting here after it's sold out. But if you buy now and you get here early, you have an opportunity to get a piece of Mandrick's baklava. He's going to be here. And he has provided baklava for the guests of Satirize the system, but there's a limited supply. So you want to get here early if you want that baklava.
There's also a limited supply of non-KYC cigarettes. So that's going to be first come, first serve. And I'm going to make sure to reserve myself like 3 packs because I'm going to be smoking quite a bit tonight. And it's going to be a long night. We're going to be partying late in the evening. The event goes till like 11, but I imagine we're probably going to be cruising Fremont after or going to the Taproot Wizards. Something. There's something going on that we're going to be doing after this.
We're right, like, when I say we're not down the street, we are a few feet away from Noster Vegas. If you're at Noster Vegas tonight, it's a great event. But, how many hours can you spend at Noster Vegas? Why don't you pop over to Satirize the system? You don't even have to take an Uber. You can just walk a few feet. It'll be great. So a lot of people will probably be going to Noster Vegas after our event. That goes later. But yeah, there's just so much going on. The conference kicked off today. The vice president shut down the strip, annoyed every Uber driver and every person. The TSA was searching Uber drivers, searching conference attendees. But guess what? None of that happens here. No TSA agents allowed. No strip searches. Nobody's going to fondle your junk. Maybe Barn Miner will if you ask him nicely, but it's not a requirement to come in.
Absolutely. No TSA required. If we find out that there's a secret TSA agent, we're going to take them out back and make sure they don't come back in. No TSA agents allowed. And
it's easy to spot a TSA agent, right? It's like even if they're not in uniform, the person who is so fat they're spilling out of their clothes. probably works at TSA. At least that's my experience. Those guys could definitely go for some long Stephen Lubka walks. They could probably switch to tallow from seed oils, but they're not going to hear that news today because they're not going to be allowed.
Typically, the way I determine whether somebody's a TSA agent is if hop on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest coming to you for the Satirize the System pregame show. None other than Adam Semeka. Adam, how's it going here? Speaking to this mic here really closely, but tell people how excited you are for tonight's event.
I'm super duper excited. If you can tell, I got my orange tie. I even brought some special orange shaded glasses. I am told that these increase pod comp score, so I'm working on that. But the whole Satirize the System is a really cool movement, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Well, very cool. Are you staying for the whole time, or are you going to ditch us for something to hear?
I think it's just we're gonna see how things go. Again, like I said, I'm really trying to work on my pod comp score, so I might have to hop and go to a whale party, but we'll see.
That's right. You got the whale pass this year, did you not?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Whale over here, I paid a really high price of free 50 sats. So free 50 sats to be exact.
How did that work? How did you get a free whale pass?
I'm a speaker. So the speakers all get free whale passes.
Oh, I didn't know that. What were you speaking about at the conference this year?
Tomorrow morning, be launching Mana, which is a Bitcoin payments platform, self-custodial, zero personal data collection, and really excited to launch that.
Is there paper Bitcoin support?
Say that one more time.
Is there paper Bitcoin support?
That's a hard question to answer. But I think it depends on the user. There are paper Bitcoin applications. I would consider some degree of eCash being, potentially paper Bitcoin. It is eCash compatible. So in that case, there might be some compatibility there if you're into that sort of thing.
Very cool.
But natively, no, absolutely not. It's all self-custodial, your own keys, your coins. You get a seed phrase and all that.
Very cool. Well, you've propelled yourself into being essentially an ambassador between Steak and Shake and the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, and they would never admit it, but I would officially, personally say that I'm the unofficial, infamous Steak and Shake ambassador for Bitcoin. So that's self-proclaimed, of course, but
you can just do things. Adam didn't go on bitcoinerjobs.com and apply to be the ambassador of the Steak and Shake. He didn't apply to be the liaison between plebs and franchise owners. He just called a franchise owner and then put him on blast for not being orange pilled. He was a LARP. His company was accepting, or his location was accepting sats, and he was almost like he didn't want people to come, right? But anyways, that blew you up, and now here you are.
No, he did want people to come, and that's what I was pretty clear about on X. He just didn't know it.
There we go.
That was the problem.
Adam had to help him adjust to his new orange pilled, reality.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how many times have you eaten a Steak and Shake since that happened?
Well, unfortunately, it's much less than I would like to have eaten. It's only been twice. I do have to drive an hour both directions to get there. But I do intend to go a lot more in the future, and that's totally that is the truth.
Well, Bitcoin podcast really changes commuting. It makes it much more enjoyable and desirable. So which Bitcoin podcast do you primarily listen to on your commute to and from Steak and Shake?
Definitely WBD all the time. Again, really trying to get my pod comp score up. And I've been told that also helps. So,
well, you're on track right now to be a top 10 seed in Maxi Madness next year. You're only so far improving your odds, improving your seed. But you want to be careful not to lose that lock-in. So, what are some things you're doing to make sure that you are primed and always ready to answer the call to be a Maxi Madness eligible influencer in 2026?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm doing right now today is I'm going to make every effort to try to make it to this whale party. And I think that's a really big step in the right direction. And so as much as I would love to be here all night, there may be a point in the night where I do end up leaving to go to that whale party to rub some elbows and get some brown nosing done.
Have you had the opportunity to rub elbows with and talk macro with none other than Lynn Alden herself?
I have not.
Your opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know. Is she here?
Well, she's the keynote speaker. No, I'm talking about the whale. If you get into the whale party,
Right. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if Lynn is here or not, but if she is, I will definitely make an effort to try to introduce myself. Big fan.
Tell us about the experience taking a picture with Michael Saylor. What was that like?
Oh, it was great. We had actually a pretty great conversation. I walked up to him and this is the true story. I said, "Can I have one?" And he looks down at his wristwatch and then reluctantly said, "Yeah."
now in that type of situation, there's kind of a feeling of being rushed. Did you think about how you were posing for that picture? Because some of the plebs and trolls were saying that you have cockshane and that you were covering your penis. Was Dennis Porter out of frame and you were just kind of ashamed that he was giving you a boner in that moment? And
Yeah.
you had Michael Saylor himself?
Yeah, there may have been some degree of that, and in hindsight, it was poorly executed. But I think it's okay because that part of the picture could easily be cropped. So I think I need to do that.
100%.
Well, very cool. Well, we're having some audio issues over here, so we need to get that ramped up before we roll into the show. But thought we'd do this quick stream. Adam, really good timing, showing up early, hang out with us. I'm gonna find a hot blonde to fiddle with this because I can't figure out these doodads that we're working on. Unfortunately, Kaylee Welch is not here. But before we end the stream, either of you have anything closing to say?
Get your ticket, get over here. If you're not going to make it, sell your ticket, make just tell people about it. Get here. Just come to satirize the system.
Yeah, there's. I'll just say, if I could add one more remark, there are lots of whale nights, but there is only one Satirize the System. So make it out.
One.
Only one. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.